I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to show you a video about how the wealth of the planet ought to better be used and why it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to get into heaven. I wanted to, there was a video going back a couple of weeks ago demonstrating how China was involved in the development of many of the nations in Africa, and it just represented the abject poverty that's in Africa. The fact that even in this modern 21st century, that most of the Africans live in again, abject poverty, sickness, and want. What I want to do is show you a very learned scholar who has looked at the economics of planet Earth, and Fareed Zakaria is going to interview him about how just a little bit of money would go a long way in terms of solving some of the world's problems, poverty problems. I'm going to let you listen to this, and then I'm going to leave my mic open, and I'll be back to give further explanation about why Beyonce and Jay-Z and all of their compadres will never taste heaven.
My next guest has written a book with some very good ideas on how to actually tackle the most pressing of these problems. Bjorn Lomborg heads the think tank, the Copenhagen Consensus Center. His book is called Best Things First. Bjorn Lomborg, pleasure to have you on.
It's great to be here.
The good news here is that there are actually there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of stuff you can spend a certain amount of money that would not be difficult for countries and achieve a lot.
Absolutely. The bottom line in the book is we could spend $35 billion. That's not nothing. I mean, I don't think neither you or I have that. But, in the global scheme of things, that's really couch change. $35 billion a year. And you could save 4.2 million lives each and every year and make the poor half of the world $1.1 trillion richer each and every year. That's almost $1.
Very important. I don't want to engineer to roll it back. $35 billion per year would save 4.1 million lives of people who are going to die because of poverty or sickness or disease. 4 million people. And you would be able to raise the poverty level as he just stated. I'm going to try not to interrupt so much because the flow of what he is saying is so critical. And let me introduce. What he's going to say is we just take a small amount of money, if the rich, the wealthy, the greedy were not so wealthy, greedy, and rich, the rest of the world could live. I will have my discussion about this after so Mr. Engineer, let it roll.
Per person per day in the entire poor half of the world. This is just phenomenal stuff.
So explain to us what's the biggest bang for the buck you can get.
Let me just give you one example for maternal and newborn health. So one of the things that surprised me is that a lot of moms die in childbirth. So about 300,000 moms die each and every year, and 2.3 million kids die in the first 28 days on the planet. If we invested about $5 billion per year in basic, you need to get women.
How many moms die? 1.5 million moms die in childbirth every year. Children die. Just a small investment of $5 billion, and those moms would not die, the children would not die. The other day, I understand that Beyonce was in Dubai, and she was in Dubai. She and her, whatever he is, her man, Jay-Z, own a $28 million Rolls Royce, the most expensive car on the planet. They paid $28 million for this Rolls Royce. They were in Dubai, one of the richest, classiest, most modern cities, built with oil money. It's just a classy, ritzy space. And Beyonce was over there. I don't know if Jay-Z was even with her. She's over there in Dubai with all those Arab men riding around in her $28 million Rolls Royce. And I want to show you Beyonce, who is the mother of somebody named Blue Eyes or something like that. Here's Beyonce and her $28 million Rolls Royce in Dubai. I mean, what's the exaggeration here? You see why she'll never go to heaven? You see why $28 million, it don't even look like it's worth $28 million. What does $28 million look like anyway? And why would anybody pay that? But that's Beyonce, and she's in Dubai. How did she get it? Did she fly it over there on a private jet? What did it cost to fly that Rolls Royce? I think her daughter's name is Blue Ivy or something like that, right? I guess that's why the Rolls is Blue Ivy. But just think about it. You say, well, Pastor Manning, they're billionaires. They probably give to some charities. Well, they don't give enough. You say, well, they do help some people in poor neighborhoods, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, do they really? I don't know about it. But if you can spend $28 million on an automobile, you're not giving enough. And by the way, how did you get that kind of money? How does one person get enough money to have a private jet and a $28 million? Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Only the devil would give that kind of money out. But at any rate, all the people are dying. Sell that automobile and literally millions of people can live. Just sell that one automobile right there and you can buy houses in Fort Greene or in the area of Bed-Stuy where Jay-Z alleged where he grew up. You could buy homes and pay for at least 27 brand new homes you can put people in. 27 families can move into 3- and 4-story brownstone homes on St. James Street, Clausen Avenue, Franklin Avenue, Herkimer Street, not Herkimer Street, but DeKalb Avenue, Troop Avenue, Stuyvesant, Putnam, Halsey. 27 families can have 27 new homes just by selling that one car. No. Just by selling that one, there ought to be a protest against Jay-Z and Beyonce. All right, Mr. Engineer, I've said enough. Go ahead and roll the rest of it.
Into facilities to give birth, and you need to have basic obstetric care there. If you had that, you could save 166,000 moms each year. You could save 1.2 million kids. Overall, every dollar delivers $87 of benefit for the world. That's an amazing investment.
What about education?
Everybody agrees we should have great education, and education really is the key. We estimate that if countries would have the same educational achievement as Great Britain, for instance, they would be 30-40% richer. The problem is that we've now gotten all kids into schools, but they're not learning. So there's almost 500 million kids in the lower half of poor half of the world, and they're almost all in primary school, but they're not learning. The real problem here is when you're in school, we put all the 12-year-olds in one grade, all the 13-year-olds in one grade, and so on. But actually, these 12-year-olds are wildly different. What we need is to have a way to teach each one at their level. One teacher can't do that, but what can do this, and this is just one of the solutions, is you put them in front of a tablet 1 hour a day. That tablet has educational software. That tablet obviously costs money, but it can teach that kid at her or his exact level. Very quickly figures out what
this has been tried and proven.
This is trialed and proven in a lot of different trials. We estimate spend $30 because this tablet will be shared with at least 7 other kids over the day. If you do this over the year, it'll cost about $30 per kid per year. And it simply leaves the world much better off. We estimate for every dollar spent, you will do $65 of social good. Fantastic.
Okay, so it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter into heaven. And it's simply see that the wealth of the planet is extracted by those that are, I suppose, greedy or they're non-qualified for heaven. And just a lot more people would live. The poverty level would not be nearly as great in just the investing of the monies that so many rich people harbor. And I think that it needs to be clear, since Jay-Z talked the people in Brooklyn out of their homes, there to build Barclays Center, should sell that $28 million Rolls Royce and give $1 million to 27 families so they can buy houses there in Brooklyn, on Halsey Street, on Putnam, on Clausen, on Franklin, on St. James, on Gates, on Green Avenue. Just sell that and give $1 million each to 27 families with 2 or 3 children, husband and wife, and you won't even miss it. But you think they'll do that? You think they'll do that? And check this out. There are a lot of people who are as ignorant as hell who are going to get angry with me for saying that Jay-Z should sell that Rolls Royce and give $1 million each so a person can buy a house in Brooklyn, a 2, 3-story, 4-story house in Brooklyn, and be debt-free, have $1 million house in Brooklyn on Clausen Avenue, Franklin, Lafayette, Gates, Green, and be debt-free. The black folk gonna be mad. Why are you talking, picking that man had that car? That man got talent. Everybody say that man's a businessman. No, that man he plays the whore for the Jewish enterprise. And I'm not an anti-Semite. I love my Jewish brothers, but they got money, and some of them know how. Some of them know how to make pimps or make whores out of people like Jay-Z and his wife, Beyonce. Jay-Z, sell that Rolls Royce and give $1 million each to buy houses all up and down Bed-Stuy, where you claim that you used to live. And you actually did used to live there. All right, so we're going to wait and see what the report's going to be.